Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to TMP Finance, where we make long and short-term investing simple. Let's take a quick look at the NASDAQ and some of the stocks surrounding the NASDAQ too, and I can tell you about the price action from there and where I expect price to go in the near future. So let's take a quick look at the heat map over here for the NASDAQ. And we can see it's been a very mixed day here. We're not going to pay attention to Tesla, but let's take a look at NVIDIA, especially after earnings. It's not great to see two negative red days in a row. And then also for the rest of the stocks here, it's been pretty mixed over here. So a lot of movement, but a lot of movement to really nowhere. Let's take a look at the Fear and Greed Index for the S&P 500. And this is kind of going according to my plan here. I did expect a little bit more of a pullback into this neutral zone just because we passed through extreme fear, and neutral so very fast when we were recovering from the bear trend there. We spent very little time in neutral, if no time at all, and I think that it's just healthy for the market to come back and kind of fill this gap, so to speak, and properly pace itself, because we've been moving up even faster than we've been falling in some of the securities here. So I am expecting a little bit of a rebalance there. Now let's talk about the price action for the NASDAQ here today. I'm not really liking this price action too much, and right now I think it's a waiting game, and there's nothing wrong with being patient here. Being patient as a trader is really where you're going to make the best trades and you're going to get the most clarity. But right now I can see that we are in a bit of a range here. And this range here is coming from 21,200 all the way up to 21,700. And we can take a look here in the past as well, and we can see that this has also stayed as a pretty strong range where we've only exited really to make this, this all-time high over here, and which is a very weak all-time high. And even then when we came back, we were still back into this trend here. So this is a very strong point where you have a lot of buyers and a lot of sellers in the market. So from there, you can place these trades for kind of, like a balancing position, in between two supports and resistances. So that is what I'm looking out for here. In the short term, it's very fine to place a long trade right above this support level over here, where you can place your stop loss right below, and then your take profit to the next resistance over here. And this is a very healthy risk reward as well. Again, being a trader is not about predicting every scenario right. You're going to have to take risks sometimes and take the best probabilities and the best risk rewards, because over time, if you do so, you will be in the green over there. Now let's talk about the medium to long-term trend here. Where do I expect the NASDAQ to go? Let's say in the next couple weeks at least. I'm not really liking this price action from today or yesterday. Reason being is because we can understand that we did have this bearish rejection, which is very strong, creating this kind of shooting star pattern here. And we did get this bearish move down to the south side, but we did get a lot of buyers once we filled this gap down below here. And I can show you that gap here on QQQ. Let's take a look. So yeah, the stock market was able to rebalance itself a little bit. We did have a very small gap here. And the fact that we were able to bounce off that gap, it's kind of like seeing that there's no more roadblocks that are really holding the NASDAQ back, at least for the short term, and that we're able to move up higher here. Now, what does that mean? Because again, the NASDAQ moving up is not necessarily bad in theory. However, we're just so far extended from our supports in the stocks that are supporting the index that I just find it hard to believe that we have the momentum to keep up such a strong bull trend. And just to show how strong this bull trend is, take a look at the angle of the support over here versus the angle of the support that's held us up in this very healthy but still very strong bullish trend over here. We have about a 45-degree angle here, but this is almost looking straight up, so I think it's going to be only healthy. And I'm not saying that we're going to go into a bear trend, but we're just going to have a bit of a bearish correction down towards either closing some gaps or down towards some other significant supports and resistances, such as the one over here at 20,767. So if we were to have a bearish breakdown, I would be looking for that level to take profit at, but right now we are in a range, so you are waiting for a break of this 21,200 support level over here. Let's take a look at the bullish scenario, and I'm also not really liking the bullish scenario just because we did get this very strong rejection from these upper support levels or upper resistance levels yesterday, and also that we did have this very clear violation of this support line over here. And I'm not really liking the fact that, we're kind of breaking through these supports here. And don't get me wrong, this is still a very tight support. So I will place a long trade regardless, because the risk reward, again, is very good here. Especially in the fact that I think that we will reach all-time highs very soon. So even if you do want to reach for all-time highs over here, all-time highs are going to be, let's see, around here. right? Let's just say here to be conservative, that's still an 8 risk to reward there. And if you have a small position where you're not risking a lot, that's a very good trade there as well. But right now, what I am looking for is going to be a break of one of these support levels over here. Now, again, I am liking that fact that we're in the long term, in months from now, we are going to be in a bullish trend, but we may get a short-term bearish correction. So keep that in mind, because let's take a look at QQQ again. We do have a few gaps that we do need to fill on the lower levels, and those levels are actually below our rising support line as well. So you have this very significant gap over here at 493, and I would expect that to close before we get some very extreme, very new all-time highs there. But who's to say? As traders, all we can do is really just be reactive in a sense, where we can stay patient and wait for confirmation and just wait to see where the market goes and just, follow the momentum with it. So that's going to be it for the NASDAQ over here. Let's take a look at Microsoft again. And Microsoft is super far extended from its support. Let's take a look at how far away from its support it is, because we did have another bullish day over here. And we're currently 15% away from our support level over there. So we are extremely far extended. Let's take a look even at the, let's pull up a Bollinger Band here. We're very close to reaching its all-time highs and also at the upper band there, and there is a very good chance that once we touch this upper band, we could start to get rejections, as we've seen in the past, back down to the south side over there. As we can see, normally most of the time when it touches these bands and it doesn't have a very strong break through them, that's when you start to see the price move down. So I am looking for a correction in Microsoft, and these are some plays that you can take. Very simple. One play that you can take is going to be a short position, and you're shorting all the way down to this gap close. It doesn't need to be pixel perfect, but it can be at least to this 400 psychological level over here. This is a very good contender for a take profit over here. So your trade can look something like this, where you're taking your profit at the gap fill over there, and you're keeping your stop loss right above the all-time highs, and this is a very good risk to reward level over there. Now, I know that there is more risk to taking short trades rather than long trades, so what you can do is, if you want to be patient and holding cash as I'm doing, you can wait for the eventual move to the downside. And I'm not going to say that anything in the stock market is guaranteed, but this is extremely high chance of filling, just because we are, if you take a look in the history of any of these stocks here, including Microsoft, when we do have gaps, they do get filled, and the ones that haven't got filled are very small, very minuscule, and that's why, the market can't really bother to go back and fill those gaps there. But for something as large as a 7% gap, you already know damn well that this will fill, especially when you have this very strong range that we've been trading in for the past year. So if you do want to wait for a return back to this line over here at 400, you do have a very healthy risk to reward trade as well to the north side there. And if you do believe in Microsoft as a long-term stock, it's just bound to happen that we will fill this gap here. So you can stay patient, place your trade there, and wait for it to move to all-time highs there or higher price figures there. Same thing can be said about NVIDIA. NVIDIA is not as far extended as Microsoft, but we do have an NVIDIA approaching the support level over here, and we're currently about 10% away from the support level, so not as far extended as Microsoft, but we're still getting extended over there as well. So we do have this gap that we filled here as well, and we have lots of other gaps that NVIDIA can fill as well, such as this 124 gap as well. Now this is a very good contender for a gap fill, because this will still most likely be holding this bull trend over here while closing a gap as well, so you can get a lot of buyers off of this level over here, and it's very close to the 125 psychological number as well. Let's take a look at Apple, and Apple's kind of stuck in this range over here. We can see very clearly, and I can put up a smaller time frame here just to show you. Apple's kind of stuck in this trend here, where you have this about $20 range from 193 to about 214 over here. So right now, what am I looking for? I can look for a bounce to the north side, just because we could possibly have this double tap over here, and if we are in a bull trend, which the market seems to be in agreement with, you can expect that we will make a new higher high versus then a new lower low. So that being said, you do have a very healthy support and a very healthy risk to reward over here. If you want to be pretty conservative with your trade, you can take a look for the 213, but I do believe that we can move higher to at least 219 above and fill this gap on the upside as well. So I think that's very possible. Apple's kind of slacking behind compared to the other stocks in the NASDAQ, but that's not necessarily bad. You know, there's always going to be one that's slacking behind. And again, Apple is one of the top 3 stocks in the NASDAQ. It is the leading stock when it comes to market cap for smartphones. So I don't think Apple will be going anywhere anytime soon. And you got to ask yourself too, do you think that this high over here at Apple at 260 is the last all-time high for Apple? I doubt it. Again, it's not performing too well right now, but that's not bad. Again, stocks are on sale, so buy up. Meta, same thing as Microsoft, you have a lot of gaps in the chart to fill, and you're very, very far extended from the support and resistance level as well. So you can be either shorting the market, waiting for these gap fills on the south side here, or you can be patient and wait for the market to rebound all the way down to these gaps over here at 508, at 559, and also at 613, and from there you can be placing long trades there. Again, Meta, very prosperous stock, so I can look for some bullish movement in the future as well. I can definitely bet on that. But that is going to be a wrap for today's analysis over here. Yesterday we closed a fantastic trade based off of NVIDIA earnings. I saw this loss of bearish momentum, and I saw that we were very close to a resistance line as well. So I sent a message to the Discord channel, and I let all the members know to place this long trade over here, which had very, very good risk to reward ratio, about 6 right there. And what did we do? We got this absolute blast to the upside here with this very, very bullish NVIDIA news, and we were able to close our trade very, very easily in just a matter of about an hour and a half while the market was open. So that was a great trade there. We've been placing a lot of great trades here to date. We're currently up 166.1% after our 9 times leverage in the Discord community, and all these trades are made public in the Discord community, and I let you know the take profits, the stop losses, and also my plans ahead of time as well, including risk allocation as well, so you know how to manage your risk properly. We also do have free one-on-one sessions that you can take as well, and these are private sessions on Zoom or in real life if you are nearby the Toronto area. And so much more benefits as being a trader in the TMP Finance Discord community. And if you do take a look at the S&P 500, it's currently slacking where I think we just broke even actually, and it's nearly half the year has gone by. So if you're looking for some real rewards and real returns, and you're looking to beat the market, as all traders dream of, come take a look at the link in the description, wap.com/tmp-finance, because we're doing it right there, and we got all the proof for you there. But that's going to be a wrap for us today. Thank you very, very much for tuning in this week, and we will see you in the next week, y'all. Peace out, have a trade plan, and get ready to execute that, because a lot more price action is coming in the next week. Peace out, y'all. Later.